Hello, dear listeners. This is my second broadcasting with you today in English. I just got inspired after speaking to someone in regards to their challenges that they experience with their children. And we met in the past, and I actually mentored her in that regards. Just want to introduce you. My name is Miriam, and I'm a life coach. It's very hard to place exactly what I do, but I'm going to say exactly what I do in the private sessions and in groups. I would call myself an intuitive coach. I do have a degree in Montessori mentoring and teaching, and that's what I used to love. It was my passion. I actually used to run a daycare for those moms that used to send their kids to me for 6 years, something like that. It was a beautiful experience just to learn the style of Montessori and observe the kids, and it's a very meditative state for a teacher to be in that environment, etc. So based on that and based on the teachings that I learned and picked up in Montessori learning and in Montessori training, there is a big emphasis on observing the child. Basically a teacher, or there is no such thing as a teacher, but a director of the class, she or he would just quietly sit in a very low stool in the back of the room and just pay attention to little details of a child. Even such silly things like why did the child move the chair with the right hand, the left hand. You just observe and write down a very lengthy observation. So that taught me that I could intuitively, and applying this specific method, I could observe kids in their house and schools, and I did that in the past, and I'm re-invited there again. So one of my expertise is Montessori. I work with adults, primarily couples. I would consider myself as a health coach as well, because I have quite a journey, and I recorded a video there today for you to see how I started my raw diet and how I came off and what I experienced 10 years later and how I'm back in green smoothie campaign, so to speak. So a life coach, Montessori mentor. I would call myself a health expert, and a teacher and a consultant. I would also call myself an intuitive reader, where we just in the flow, in the moment, discuss certain things based on the voice vibration that the client is speaking with, or the words or the topic they bring up. So it's very at the moment kind of coaching and therapy. So what I want to address today is, again, something that came up with a child that I'm replying back and forth, communicating with a mom that experiencing some challenges with her, I think, 8-year-old. And over there, obviously, the school misbehaving, not listening to mom and dad, fights a lot, rebels, not following the orders at home, not being polite, etc., etc., etc. So we started the diagnosis, so to speak, and what came up primarily from just asking a bunch of questions and screening and observing the whole situation at large. I understood that, and I explained to a mom with the concept that I want to share today with you, that something that she needs to learn and understand, and she should be able to help her children with what I taught her. So the idea is that generally what happens if a child misbehaves and then he goes and speaks to a consultant or a therapist, and the therapist offers different techniques to open the child up to see where emotionally they are off and what is going on with their mental state and emotions and maybe some fears and anxiety that they're experiencing. So there's basically a huge focus on what the child is currently going through. There is no much emphasis, from what I understand, in mainstream therapy, where you observe the whole situation, the whole scenario, the whole background, so to speak, right? There are a few questions about stability of a mom and dad, whether they went through some divorce or some trauma or some like losing a close relative or something like that. But still, from what I understood, there is not much attention given to the details. Like I said in the beginning of this video, the Montessori pays attention to many minute details. And I just explained to a mom that a child at this age, even younger, much younger, I would say from the age of 2 or a year and a half to about 12, a child is in deep need for a mom. So he basically picks up intuitively the vibes where the mom is, where her attention is, where she's mostly invested. And a child is primarily doing it for his survival, for his or her survival. It's not because some kids are into it, some kids not, some kids more needy, some kids less needy. It's just a normal development of a child at this age. They basically would do anything to keep their mom for themselves. So they go to those areas where, hello my dear, they go to those areas where mom is distracted and mom is not serving her role as a mom, which provides stability, teaches the child adaptive skills to this world, teaches the child to cope in this world, explains different things. And that's part of the care, adaptation to this world. So if a mom is invested in, let's say, divorce or relationship issue, or she's saving or helping one of her parents, or she herself has some health issues, and she is distracted from investing herself in the development of a child, and there's a reason why I'm not bringing a dad here. That is also crucially important, but there are certain stages where mom, so to speak, energetically is providing that stability and security and relaxation and love and care and total awareness and attention to a child. So this happens to boys and girls up until they're 3. And from the age of 3, there has to be a conscious switch for boys and girls to go to a dad's, so to speak, energy. And they integrate man's energy and presence and masculine presence and masculine expression in the world. So they get familiar with what that is all about. So for boy and for girl, they are there. Not to say that a mother stops taking care of the kids when they're 3. Mom is still responsible to provide all the stability and health and food and nurturing environment in the house. But what she does from the age of 3 onwards, she, so to speak, brings dad's vibes in, and she says, what would our daddy say? What do you think he's going to like in this? Let's make a picture for daddy. Like, she brings some in a very relaxed, not overdoing, obviously, like in a very relaxed form. She emphasizes dad's presence. We're doing it for dad. What would he say? Let's ask him. And it doesn't make mom disabled. Please don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that she doesn't know what to do and she always needs to invite dad. It's just done for that therapeutic purpose. And regardless whether mom is happy with the boy or not, I always say that in therapy, whether you get divorced or you're in a deep fight and drama scene, child always should have, as parents, energetically you should be united. As a woman and man, you could go apart and you could build your own life somewhere else. But as a parents, your duty is to stay connected energetically, and there is no fear that there's some exchange of sexual energy or intimate energy, etc. It's a role of a parent, a joint parenthood, where you are still there for the needs of a child, especially if they are young. So going back to that, dad is, so to speak, is invited, and dad is there, and Gül comes back in the age of 9, and she is mostly present in mom's aura, so to speak, and mom's under mom's wings, and boy stays with the dad, and it's important for the child's development. But what I wanted to stress out here, that the child misbehaves or would not listen, or even bring in some occasional colds or some immunal imbalance, or etc., etc. Like a mom once complained to me that the kid constantly has ear infection and constantly has this and that infection. The immune system is very weak. This is exactly what the child is doing. The child wants to bring mom to her primarily calling role. So the roles that are assigned for us, and people often get confused, they are not familiar with, so to speak, a certain priorities in our roles expression and our duties in this world. So firstly, once you enter the age of 18 or 21 in different systems, you should, whether it's a boy or a girl, they should leave the system of their parents, like for real. Even if they stay in their house, they should recognize and understand that they're not there to input and just give their opinion, or to teach the parents, or to actually that includes that they're not obligated to support the parents. Some parents have this idea that if you stay in the house, you pay your rent, you pay your duty, blah blah blah. They are cutting off in a way for a good reason. They need to cut off so they could build their own system. And when they build and they apart from their parents, they build their own life. There is a natural need for a partner. So first they develop their own quality and establishing their new role as a man and a woman. And that has to happen before they become a dad and mom, and before they become a wife and husband. They has to really kick in that new sensation. What is it to be a woman on your own, without the eyes of a mom, approval of a dad, etc., all that dependency and codependency and whatnot. So it's just in an independent state, which a lot of people skip. And then we become a wife and a husband, or a girlfriend and boyfriend in different cultures. So there is a certain identity there, there's certain attachments there, there's certain discovery of yourself in that role. And only then a person becomes a mom and dad. But often happens that from a girl, people become parents, and they skip the two main roles of maturing into a woman and maturing into a wife, or a man and a husband. And those roles are skipped, so they go from a boy to a father, which is extremely hard and skips a lot of maturity and development. So going back to our topic here, boy, in this particular family, he is trying to bring his mom's attention, and her role here is to be a mom. And it's important for her to understand that if she is invested in business, or she is invested in some other relationship that she is processing, let's say it's extended family, somebody needs her attention, or even if it's her parents, primarily she is responsible to her womanhood, to her wifehood, and then to her motherhood. And only after a child she is responsible for her parents. Or after her parents is her business or her expression in the world, which is actually very important. It's not to say because it's on the fourth level it's not important at all. I think in general development, in general wholesomeness, even it adds up to your motherhood and womanhood and wifehood, when a woman knows how to express herself. For those of you that speak Russian, tomorrow I'm going to have someone with me online early in the morning, like at 9:30 a.m., where we're going to just live address her personal questions, and we're going to hear what comes up for me as a response. Just an invitation for you. And so just to go back and understand, a child would bring her back because this is what she needs to do, especially if she misplaces an obligation of motherhood. And a child will do all those things in order for mom to understand if she's invested in her business or if she's invested in her colleagues, or she just wants to, let's say, save her dad or something else. She needs to be brought back to her motherhood, and it's important. And usually it's done by a child. So when I started observing, I understood the mom innerly, she misplaces her motherhood expression because she's very insecure in that area. She very much feels that she's not good enough as a mom. She has very little patience. She doesn't know how to really truly nurture. She feels that she is not 100%, etc. So we had to like bring back her her attention to her insecurity, and we had to explain to her, I had to explain to her that this child from all the women in the world picked you, and that's how important you are, picked you exactly as you are, picked you with all the imbalances and all the maturity and all the talents and all the gifts that you have. The child wants only you. And you need to accept yourself, and you need to accept your ability to express yourself as a mother here. Give that nurturing vibes to your kid. Give that solid attention. And she like constantly says to me, I don't have intuition. We all have intuition. Intuition is a gift to every single person. It's just some people believe that we have it and some people don't. And if you believe that you have, and you believe that you are granted with amazing intuition, especially for your child, more than any therapist, a mom knows and feels what her child needs. And if a therapist is able to raise mom to the level of fully holding that gift that she has in her motherly expression with her child, then this is a win. That's what the child needs. The child needs mom to feel good about herself. Mom needs to understand what's her first roles, other roles, not to neglect the roles above the motherhood, to nurture them as she goes, because that's going to be a support group for her, support tool for her in her motherhood. If she knows how to rest, if she knows how to self-care, if she knows how to meditate and do exercise, and she eats well, she has a good communication with her partner, with her husband, she works on that, she invests in that, that tremendously will help her role as a mom. And never in your mind to underestimate your first priority as a wife above the child. You say that there's something with my partner or ex-partner, regardless, or a future partner, that the child supports on. I have to put my energy there. I have to feel that this is the area I need to heal or build or create a space where I'm going to heal. And some women after divorce say they don't want to get married. I myself was like that until I was taught and explained that it's a certain state, and sometimes in therapy it comes up that a woman could be like a womanly, and could be a motherly, and it could be nurturing, and also there is a state and a role that is called an ex-wife. Like we hold on to it, yeah. An ex-wife has a number of feelings that they're experiencing, like they give up on the relationship, they don't want to go there, they're very bitter, or they are hurt, and they feel and they discover that alone they feel much better, and there's a lot of energy in the partnership that they need to invest, and here they feel free. So this is the, so to speak, a part of you if you were ever married before and you go back to those thoughts, just say, this is an ex-wife role talks in me. And your child needs you to be maturing into improving your partnership, because that's what supports your motherhood and your communication with your children. So notice how we did not address a child himself. We addressed the environment. We addressed the surrounding. We addressed what's going on around and who is the main supportive system, which is a mom in this sense, for that child in particular, like what is going on. And of course, because we're talking about an 8-year-old, the great deal of a dad's input and awareness and attention is playing here, because as we said, that the child from 3 to go, they both, a girl and a boy, goes to dad, and then the girl comes back, but the boy stays. And then it's important that mom accepts that dad in that child. Even if they get divorced, mom just looks at the child and says, the dad in you, which is 50%, I fully accept and I love that part in you. And it's crucially settling and crucially calming for a child to know that even though mom is about to get divorced or almost got divorced or already got divorced, the part of her dad in him, she accepts. And then a child becomes calm and he doesn't need to call out in misbehavior or absence of some attention, focus, etc., etc. He will focus on what needs to be done for his age, for his development, for his maturity. His health will be there, his awareness, his kindness will develop, etc. So I just want you to maybe, if you have a child, to respond if it was beneficial for you, and if you could share this video, would be awesome. That would be an expression and exposure for me. So just write to me, whoever's listening right now or whoever is going to be listening later, how beneficial was this video, and what would you like to hear next. Thank you so much for your attention, and we'll see you next time.